guys, Marzinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so coming up tomorrow, we have the next World Tournament on Global. Hooray! Everybody's favourite game mode. It will be starting, I'm not sure exactly what time this video is going to go up actually, but it's going to be starting within the next 12 hours at some point. Obviously in game it will tell you in the news in your local time what time it's going to be starting. I can tell you that it's 6:30 AM in the UK, which means as far as I remember from my time zones, it's like 10:30 PM PST, 1:30 AM EST, I think, depending on whether you guys are in daylight savings time or not, but it's 6:30 AM for the UK. I will be streaming when the World Tournament starts, bang on 6:30. You'll see it already advertised on Twitter by now, but I am doing another subathon, like memberthon type thing. So I'll be streaming the World Tournament, and then depending on whether we hit certain goals from donations and like memberships and stuff, if we reach all of those like goals, the stream will end up being 12 hours in total. So hooray, all day playing everyone's favorite game mode. So the next World Tournament, I always do one of these videos where we talk about the new card that's coming out, whether or not it's actually worth like grinding for, and then of course the other units that are coming out, because we normally get at least 1 or 2 awakenings. But also this is going to be the first World Tournament where we actually get the new World Tournament LR as the reward, which is the Int Jackie Chun. So let's go ahead and look at the actual reward card for this tournament, which is a Champa. So I feel like immediately this is going to put a ton of people off, because when we look at his categories, like, especially because of his links, Realm of Gods, Dragon Ball Seekers, Universe 6, Siblings Bond, Bond of Master and Disciple, Space Traveling Warriors, and Planetary Destruction. Realistically, where are you ever going to use this unit, right? His links are not great. He shares some links with like Beerus and like Whis and Vados units, but that's pretty much it. So Realm of Gods or Bond of Master and Disciple is kind of the only team where he would really have a place. Now they started to give these World Tournament SSRs slightly better kits because it takes so long for them to awaken. So when we start looking at the basic details of his card, his super attack is that he greatly raises attack and defense in 1 turn and does supreme damage. That in and of itself is very good, right? That's a good super attack effect. His passive is attack and defense 100%. Then he gets defense 100% if facing only 1 enemy when receiving an attack. So he has to be hit and then he gets the extra 100% defense, but only against 1 enemy. So units like that are always kind of frustrating, because if the first attack is a super, you're eating that before you get the extra defense, which is kind of annoying. And then he has an additional 100% attack and gets a guaranteed crit for 4 turns after receiving an attack. So basically, just by looking at those first 2 parts of his kit, they want you to put him in slot 1, at least on his first appearance. And then for the next like turn, you can put him in slot 2 if you really want to, right? Because he's still going to have that crit and the extra attack, and then he still has to eat a hit to get the extra 100% defense, but at least then it's post super, so he'll have greatly raised his defense as well. And then he does have high chance to dodge and great chance to launch an additional, so 50% chance to dodge, 70% chance to launch an additional super attack when there is a Realm of Gods category enemy. Now if that was ally, then maybe he would actually be pretty good, because his best allies are going to be, as we already mentioned, Beerus, Whis, Vados, like actual Realm of Gods characters. But how many Realm of Gods enemies are there that are actually relevant? Not a single red zone stage has a Realm of Gods enemy, so that's kind of unfortunate. It also seems counterintuitive to his kit that he has built-in dodge when he wants to get hit to activate most of his passive. So overall, I have to say this is a very weirdly designed card, and honestly the fact that they chose for it to be a Champa just makes it even worse, right? Because he's on fewer teams, doesn't have good categories. So if you base your entire decision on whether to grind the World Tournament on like getting copies of the reward card, this one is absolutely not worth it, in my opinion. I feel like this is potentially going to be one of the least played World Tournaments. Although saying that, we do have the new World Tournament LR, which we are going to talk about. I guess we might as well talk about him next, right? Because he is the next new unit. Oh, I had Go Tanks' Awakening pages up here next. But let's talk about Jackie Chun. So Jackie Chun is the new local reward card. We'll go over where you need to place in order to get a copy of him. The only way to get 2 copies of him is you have to finish first in your local. So that can be the thing that some people will probably grind for this World Tournament. If you want to get 2 copies of him straight away, you do have to finish number 1 in the local bracket. So he's a World Tournament leader for 4 key and 130. We still don't have a proper World Tournament category leader. His super attacks, he raises defense for 1 turn, colossal damage and high chance to stun on the 12 key, and then he raises attack for 1 turn, mega colossal and high chance to stun on the 18 key. His passive, 4 key and attack and defense 120. He gives World Tournament allies 3 key and attack and defense 50%, self-excluded, so it's kind of like Chile, he's not giving the buff to himself, but 50% is very good support. It's a shame the World Tournament category is, you know, kind of dead. He gets an additional 20% attack with each super attack performed up to 60, and 20% defense with each attack received up to 60. When an enemy is hit by the character's ultra super attack, reduce damage received from that enemy by 50% for the duration of that turn. So I believe this is a new ability, or like a newly worded ability, right? Because obviously damage reduction isn't anything new. But this means in any of the events where you're fighting 1 enemy, I guess 2 enemies it still works, but only on the one you attack, right? The enemy that you do his 18 key super on, Jackie Chun then gets 50% damage reduction from that enemy. So obviously in most difficult content where there's only 1, then, he just gets damage reduction. Now, it'd be interesting if you think about, like, the Gamma's red zone. It means if you 18 key super Gamma 1, but then get super attacked by Gamma 2, you don't have 50% damage reduction. So, be interesting. Probably not going to be very good when there's multiple enemies, but definitely could be quite good. 50% damage reduction. Now, the biggest problem is he doesn't get any defense on that 18 key super. So, unless you're getting an additional, his defense is not going to be that great, even when he's fully built up after receiving those 3 attacks with the extra 20% defense. So 50% damage reduction is good, but he's probably still going to take a lot of damage from, like, big red zone boss super attacks. So you probably want to give this guy a decent amount of additional, so you can then get off that additional 12 key super that does actually raise his defense. So he does also have an active skill, the full power Kamehameha, raises attack by 610% temporarily, causes damage to the enemy, and within the turn activated, attacks have a 64% chance of becoming critical hits. I'm not sure what the relevance of 64 is for this guy, but yeah, so it does a bunch of damage, and then you have a 64% chance to crit on that turn. So again, another good reason to give him full additional, because on that turn he gets a ton of crit chance. His active skill can be used after he receives 6 or more attacks, or after he performs 4 or more super attacks. So again, it kind of depends how the fight pans out, right? He could take a bunch of attacks straight away on turn 1, and again, if you get additional, if you double super, he would have to double super 2 turns in a row to then use it on his 3rd appearance. So you're probably going to be waiting a little while to use it if you're going for the super attacks condition. But in terms of receiving attacks, you very easily could have a situation where he gets off his 18 key super, picks up that damage reduction against the 1 enemy, and then is being attacked like 3 or 4 times, and you just get most of the way there in 1 turn. So he does seem pretty good. I also brought up, they did tweet out the video earlier of his super attack animations. We'll play that here without the sound, because we do have music playing in the background. But these are his animations. So this is the 12 key super, which again, this is the one that raises defense. This is the one that you're going to want to see from that additional. Against harder bosses, like, you might even want to go for the 18 key. Although I suppose, to be fair, the defense raise he gets from the 12 key isn't going to be as good as getting 50% damage reduction from doing his 18 key. So, is this actually, are they doing his active skill first? Because this is the max power Kamehameha. I think that's his active skill. Yeah, I think this is his, this is his 18 key super. So they put the active skill in the middle for some reason. But yeah, this is his 18 key super. The champion kick. Yeah, the art from the card. Off you go. Oh yeah, it's just restarted. So yeah, that was the, those are his animations. Pretty decent. I mean, he's a new unit, right? Good new quality animations. Overall, he is very good. But when it comes to grinding the World Tournament specifically for him, so if we look at the local rewards, you only have to finish in the top 150 in order to get 1 copy of him. and then all the way up until first place, you just get 1 copy. So if you end up first in your local, you can get 2. But regardless of whether you finish first or not, remember it's going to take you 3 world tournaments in total to rainbow him, because you'd have to come first twice and then in the top 50 on the 3rd one, and then you get all 5 copies of him. For everybody else, it's going to take 5 world tournaments if you're finishing between 2nd and 150th. But obviously, bear in mind, like, he has a farmable super attack because he is Jackie Chun, and there is the super strike one, so you can farm his super attack. I probably wouldn't go crazy trying to get the 2 copies straight away, because realistically, not only is World Tournament kind of a dead team, 55% and 69%, it does make a difference because you get the bottom right, like, hidden potential abilities, but I probably wouldn't go crazy grinding for him on the first World Tournament, for most people. Obviously, I am going to end up probably streaming for 12 hours on Friday, so we'll probably end up in the top number 1 for the local. But he is a cool card, but I definitely wouldn't go crazy grinding the World Tournament for him. Maybe when we eventually get like a proper World Tournament 200% leader, that would be pretty good. And of course, he is on Dragon Ball Saga. He is on... Actually, is he on one of the categories that gets the full 200% buff from Kid Goku? I don't think he is. But remember, Kid Goku is about to release on Global the Path to Power one. So this guy will be on his at least his 170 lead. And whilst that Path to Power Goku isn't on World Tournament, there's a few characters you could run on that team that will be, who will then be getting the 50% support from this guy. So he could be decent, but it's definitely not worth going crazy just trying to get him. And then, of course, we have the Gotenks Awakening. He is interesting. He raises attack and defense, infinite stack on his super, so that's pretty good. He gets 100% attack and defense, changes AGL orbs to tech. He supports youth and fusion allies. 1 key, 20% attack, 10% defense. If they're on both, so other Gotenks units. I think also like Bullpan is on there as well. They get 40% attack and 20% defense and 2 key. He also gets an additional attack and defense 100% when attacking with 3 or more key spheres. Gets an additional attack that has a medium chance to super with 3 or more tech key spheres specifically. And then launches an additional attack that has a high chance to become a super with 5 tech key spheres. So I'm guessing these are all separate, right? So if you pick up 5 tech key spheres, not only does he have an additional attack and defense 100%, he then has an additional attack that has a 30% chance to become a super, and then another additional attack that has a 50% chance to become a super, and then his hidden potential. So on his best turn, if you're picking up 5 tech orbs, he could super attack 4 times, which obviously for an infinite stacker is pretty good. And then he has pretty straightforward Gotenks links. He has Over in a Flash, which is weird. Normally only the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks have that, but I guess that does mean he is good as a partner for Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which we definitely still need a new one. I know a lot of people want to see an LR Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which would be pretty good. So he seems like he's pretty interesting. And then when it comes to our boy Champa, as disappointing as he is, if we look at the thing, remember, if you play up to the point where you get 23 million points overall, you get a guaranteed copy of him. And then if you go to 30 million, you get some extra Kais as well. But when it comes to getting the extra copies of him, you need to finish in the top, where is it? Top 20,000 gets you 1 extra copy. If you want to rainbow him, you need to finish in the top 2,000, because then you get 4 extra copies. That will open his 4 paths. Now, obviously, actually, there is a free-to-play Champa, isn't there? So he does have a farmable super attack. Normally the wiki shows that, yeah. There is a free-to-play Champa. So he does have a farmable super attack, which means if you get into the top 2,000, you will be able to rainbow him. And then obviously any position you finish above that, you just get extra copies. The top 1,000 is where you start getting hidden potential orbs, which is always nice. I normally try and aim for the top 1,000 or the top 500. Previous ones where I've grinded really hard, I've been in the top 200, but then it's been like 12 hours before the World Tournament ends and I need to go to bed. And you can kind of tell that you're going to drop out of one bracket. So if I'm like, say I'm at like 250, I know full well there's no way I'm going to get up 51 places and keep that spot. especially if I have to go to sleep in between. So I will normally just resign myself to finishing in this bracket. So I think top 500 is probably where I'm going to aim for. I am going to aim for number 1 in the local so I can get 2 copies of Jackie Chun. I probably will just farm both of them super attack to 10, get him to LR, feed the other one in, and then just have him 55% at SA20 so I don't have to waste any Kais. And then obviously I will do a 55% showcase for him. So let me know what you guys think down below. Remember, with World Tournament cards, like, not only is this guy seemingly disappointing, but when we look at the Gotenks, he's awakening now for us, right? 27th of January 2023, and he came out 27th of September 2019. So he's like 3 years and 4 months it took for him to get an awakening. So this guy probably not going to awaken anytime soon, and pre-awakening I just really don't think he's that good. So let me know what you guys think. Like I say, apart from people who maybe want a copy of Jackie Chun, I feel like this could be one of the quietest world tournaments, which will be good for people that do actually want to grind it. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.